Oh, what's up, guys? We're here with more tournament reports from the past weekend, LLDs, regionals, and such, coming at you from the UK here. And yeah, this is Bradley's Metalfoes deck, and yeah, it's all yours for the floor, man. Tell us about your day and your deck and so on and so
Okay.
forth.
So like I almost didn't play at the Swansea LLDS, having already won the Cardiff one, but I kind of like this deck's been really good at it's really fun. And for the last week I've been doing 12-hour shifts at work, so it's been fun to like kind of break up the monotony of these 12-hour shifts by playing this on YGO Pro. Like I was playing as like utter glue sniffers, so it wasn't necessarily that it wasn't like that necessarily engaging, but like it was still really fun because they just like casually attack over something like small, like a Bumbuku, and then you flip like two counters and summon two Volflame, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this is sick! This is so cool." So yeah, I decided to like turn up. I decided on the Friday, like the day before the event, that I would play, and I would play Metalfoe. Um, and it's kind of obvious, it's kind of evident that in some of the card choices and some of the things, and like I will say now that the extra deck and the sideboard are completely incorrect. Well, not completely, but like there's some choices that I know that had I tested it more, I would have completely just not played them or made room for other more relevant things. Because we were just talking about the deck afterwards, and like I missed out some things.
What'd
Like
you change in the main? It looks pretty fine, pretty solid in the main.
Maxi was something I initially didn't want to play. I wanted to play stuff like the third Painful Decision and maybe a Summoner's Art, but I don't have a third decision. But I also figured that like with Decision, you have the once per turn clause, and on top of that, if you play Desires, if you resolve Desires before you draw into a decision, you have to like it's kind of awkward because then you have to like hope that you haven't banished like one or two of a Metalfoe, and then you have to account for Metalfoes that have already been played or summoned from the deck with counter. So, but I definitely would have included Summoner's Art because Summoner's Art literally it's one card that could search three. You know, it's like an ABC where you play like the Rota to search like one of the three Thrashes, for example. I don't know. But Maxi was kind of added in last minute as well because of it was like a contingency thing for going second if I ever had to go second, because like this deck can do a lot. It can actually surprisingly do a lot. And a lot of the trends at the moment are like Strike and Fogblade. Say like PK Fire, for instance, or Wing Blast, and or in Blue Eyes. And that's where like Metalfoe Fusion is insanely relevant because like it's not an inherent summon and it allows you to do so much. It was great. So looking at like I don't know if I have to explain anything or I have to say what's in the deck because I got fucking keyboard warriors give me shit last time, but
What's up
obviously
with the what's it called? I mean, you obviously didn't win every dice roll, so like this seems pretty horrible to go second with. I mean, Pendulum in general, obviously, but like you don't have any
yeah.
like main deck hate, really. I mean, you have Eccentrics, I guess, which is good, but I mean,
Yeah.
anti-spell's a bit of a problem, at least before ABC.
Oh, Rescue Rabbit's really good. At doing stuff, at getting out of that. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with anti-spell as a main deck option because my matchups were PK Fire round one, and the guy was like pretty crap. Like he would, like okay, this is not me just being slanderous. Like he was so like he had like tunnel vision at one point where he detaches off Beatrice to send a boots so that he could add the fog blade, but he didn't add off the Dante that he detached. So like he had this like tunnel vision where he was just like, mate, I need the fog blade. So he just literally went for it. And then in game two, he like did flip anti spell, and that's when I just chained like Twin Twister or something and just like fuck off, stop trying to not play the game, you know. And actually as well, no, tell a lie. Actually, he did actually main anti spell, but I think I won the die roll, and in game one, I had already accumulated enough advantage where like
Didn't
even
really
when he
matter.
popped, yeah, he popped like a scale and then flipped anti spell, but like I summoned like Luster Pendulum and then made like Ignister and stuff, and um, so yeah, so the Maxi was kind of questionable. I wanted to play more cards that just gave me more cards. I'm just um, but and Maxi was like that contingency for going second, and it did come up because I played against my good buddy Aaron Kazemi, round 3, and I opened Maxi both games, and he went first twice, and someone's Terra top, and then he dropped he opens Terra top twice, and I opened Maxi twice. So he's like, "How are you so good at this game?" And I was like, "I know, right?" So yeah, the main deck. I think the only questionable thing was the Maxi. I think Lost the Pendulum is actually broke in this deck, and what I also like about Bumbuku in this deck is the fact that like, you know, like in the Joshua Schmidt Pendulum list, you could use like Raccoon for like an All Eyes Fusion and maybe like a rank 3.
Yeah.
Like the fusion summoning is so like it's so constant with this deck. Because like you obviously only have like 4 fusion monsters, but I would probably play like a second Adamante or a third Orichalc, because you are constantly just like putting the fusion back in the deck. You are constantly like pendulum summoning stuff. You are constantly using counter to maintain advantage. But that's what's so cool about the Magispector engine in this deck. It's not just like for the sake of getting Kirin, because you can like
use the Raccoon.
Yeah, and I was like, I actually made like. And because of stuff like what's it? And because you can pendulum summon a lot more, like this is definitely more like level 3 friendly. Like the Joshua Schmidt Pendulum deck, like has a lot more like scale 3s. So you couldn't like pendulum summon Bumbuku a lot more. You could do it so much in this deck. So I was constantly summoning like 2 Bumbuku and making stuff like Grand Pulse or Totem Bird. So
play Breaksword, I think.
Oh yeah, but that's what I mean. I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
So this is okay. So this is I didn't have a Void Ogre Dragon or Dragoon, and I didn't have a Breaksword. So I put in Dweller and Grand Pulse. Otherwise, the extra deck would have been fine, I think. It would have been okay. But honestly, like, I didn't miss the Void Ogre Dragoon at all, because like, if we move on to like the extra deck, I have to say that Zolkin is fucking awful in this deck.
I was about to ask about that. Like, how was it throughout the day?
Zolkin is like terrible. Like, I never made Zolkin. I never made Crystal Wing. You know, like, the best card of the weekend, the best cards were Orichalc, and Ignister. And then like other notable shoutouts are like for Utopia the Lightning, because I attacked over a Beatrice with it, and Crimsonite, because I was playing against Kaz, and Kaz set a back row, and I knew for a fact that like what was it? I had a feeling it was Solemn Strike. So like I pendulum summoned like 1 Vol Flame, and he wouldn't touch it. He wouldn't flip the Solemn Strike. So like I then like fused into Crimsonite. And I was like he can't Fog Blade this Crimsonite. He can't like strike it. Whereas with like if I summon Orichalc, then he can like he can strike that or Fog Blade it. Or if it's Adamante, he can summon a Dante and crash into it. So I summoned the Crimsonite. And then it got to a point where my board was Gold Driver, Crimsonite with an emptiness. So I literally just like, it was just broken. But yeah, like you don't XC summon at all in this deck. A lot of the time you're just synchro summoning and fusion summoning. I think like if you are going to play like any XC's monsters, it's usually just like the absolute essentials, you know, like the Castel, the Utopia, the Lightning, and like a noble rank 3 that can pop the like spot removal. So yeah. I would have made Stardust Spark a lot more if it was actually like if I was actually allowed to use it. So I turn up like 15 minutes before the event's supposed to start, because like I have to travel from Newport to Swansea, and that's like an hour-long train ride, hour and 10 minutes. And I get there and I grab a deck list. I start filling it out in like block capitals, abbreviated names, so just like Gold Driver, Volflame, Stealing, stuff like that. You know, I don't really like write the full names of every card. And they're like, come on, we got to start at 11. You know, you got like 2 minutes left. And I was like, fucking hell, fine. So I finished the whole deck. And I play round 1, and I start playing round 2. And I think like midway through, or just after game 1, Sam like goes, let me see your deck list or your extra deck. So I pass him my extra deck, and he comes back and goes, you can't use the Stardust Spark anymore. And I was like, why? And he goes, because you didn't write on your deck list. So I was like, oh, are you serious? And I was like, this is what happens when you rush me, Sam. You fucking prick.
Wait, did Sam like shark you?
Sam was the judge. So shout out to Sam Shepard for being an absolute fucking savage. Just, and it was funny as shit because they were just like, before I played Kaz, he was like, "Mate, what are you gonna do? Sit on that emptiness with what? Fuck all." I was like, "Fuck you." So, so yeah, like honestly, like I was almost tempted to not include the starter spark in the dev pro in the YGO profile. It would have been like just a 14 card extra deck.
Well,
But
it should have been there.
but honestly, like I just made like Ignister and Oricog like so much, like I didn't need them. So like, and to the sideboard is the 3 Comungus for like Blue Eyes, ideally, because you just can't play. You can play, but like the deck kind of like struggles under Spirit Dragon, so it's kind of like this. Like Blue Eyes will just batter you at that point. Flying Sea was broke as fuck as well, because like when I opened Flying Sea, Maxi against Kaz, I just drew like Flying Sea. I was like sick, and then I like dismantled his one board, and then when he tried to make a second play with like Tour Guide, I tried to drop like the Flying Sea, and I had like Flying Sea Kirin, so I was like, yeah, this is my game. Raigeki Dark Hole was kind of just like for anything generic, because at like LLDS, you're probably gonna play against like rogue decks and shit.
Jet Turbo, etc.
Or like, yeah, Dark Law or some shit like that, you know? And like Jaugen could do something, but like you could just like fucking Dark Hole Raigeki them and just win. And I don't think this is incorrect, but it's definitely something that I would probably have to revise a bit more, is like the triple Twin Twister and triple Typhoon. But heavy decks. And then Typhoon you could include for the same sort of purpose, but like you could like just add 2, and then you could play like 3 for like more pendulum based matchups. So I sided 3 in against a Metalfoes mirror, and he went like, what was it? I think it was like double Steelerin. He like put double Steelerin in the scale and went Steelerin target Steelerin, and I just went Typhoon, and he just went pass. So I was like sick. And then Strike was for going first against stuff like Blue Eyes and like any sort of pendulum deck. But the problem, like, so like everything like had like this theory, like this purpose behind it, but like it was just the fact that I didn't plan what to side out, because obviously I decided to like enter the event so last minute that I just thought like, fuck, I'll just put this together. This seems like I basically looked at Furman's list and then sort of like took the bulk of ideas from that. But yeah, if I would play this deck more, like I don't think I'd play it at Liverpool, but I think maybe when Invasion Vengeance comes out, I might play a bit more with it then, because like I don't know, like this deck's really fun. It definitely breaks up the monotony of the game, where like at the moment everyone's just like trying to sit on a Beatrice or an ABC Buster, Dragon Buster, or they will be at Liverpool. But yeah, it's pretty strong, like cool deck. And I look forward to like fucking around with the new stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I think
it,
it's
man.
gonna be really good with the new stuff. But
yeah,
be in action with it again soon.
But yeah, just a quick shout out, just a quick disclaimer. For any teams watching, any noble teams, I will be winning Weiss Liverpool. So if you want to take me on now is your chance while I'm cheap. Otherwise, when I win Liverpool, it's gonna be a fucking first come first serve. Yeah. Once again, shout outs to my boys Sam Shepard and Eric Hasme for being absolute savages, for making me come second, not first.
All right. Yeah, thanks guys for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this in-depth profile. Let me know what you think down below. Brad will probably be snooping around in the comments if you have further questions and shit like that. So, or if you want to throw some shade at him, he'll probably enjoy that.
I mean, they could probably just fucking hit me up on Facebook. Do it. Go ahead, keyboard. Come on, keyboard warriors. Come at me, bro.
All right, thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.